Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now I'm getting my DeLorean Mark III from Back to the Future 3 from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new figure preview video goes live on the channel. I tell you what, the way they go about releasing these Back to the Future figures and vehicles is just so strange. So first off, we had Marty from Back to the Future 1, then we got Doc from Back to the Future 2, then Marty from Back to the Future 2, the DeLorean from the first film, and then years later, we finally get the hover-converted DeLorean from Back to the Future 2. But at that point, Doc and Marty were long since sold out, so what do? They reissue them, right? No. They make Doc from Back to the Future 1, and they reissue Marty or kind of do a 2.0 from Back to the Future 1, not the second film. But they release the car around the same time as those figures. Just so weird. And now we have Doc and Marty from Back to the Future 3. They released quite a while ago. And finally, the DeLorean from the third film. But if only they'd announced this at the same time as those figures, more people would have bought both, because chances are, if you are buying Doc and Marty, you're gonna want the DeLorean from the film that those figures are based off. And if you want to get them now, you might struggle, or heck, even if you want to get them when this releases, a year or so from now, it's going to be even more difficult. So Hot Toys do need to work on their Back to the Future release strategy. It's just a real head-scratcher, in my opinion. Now, you do get some little bits and pieces, some swap-out accessories for the DeLorean. Namely, you get the train wheels. Oh, and an inaccurate light-up function just like the other two ones. The headlights need to be halogen Hot Toys, which means yellow, not blue. But the little thrusters around the back are yellow, so they can clearly do yellow LEDs. It's just, Hot Toys, you need to put that 5% extra effort in to get these to be even more accurate than they already are. On the surface, yes, beautiful, we love a 1/6 scale DeLorean. But when the headlights are the wrong color, they didn't have xenons or LEDs back in the day when we had the DeLorean actually driving around on the road. They had halogens, so the lights need to be frickin' yellow. I don't know how they keep making this weird mistake, but they do. At least this box on the front with the light bulbs and all the old bits and pieces and how it's strapped on there, that looks great. There's a ton of detail, it's all well sculpted and well painted. But even with this stuff, I have spoken to some Back to the Future aficionados who just know way more about the DeLorean than I do, and they said that there are a couple of inaccuracies on that stuff as well. Not enough to be a deal breaker for me, and not for them either. It's just that, like I said, that 5% of extra effort that Hot Toys could sprinkle in there just to get it 100% perfect. They are so close. For some collectors, close enough isn't good enough, and that's just Hot Toys' loss, unfortunately. I am perfectly happy though with how everything looks here, so if we get exactly what's on display, even though there are those inaccuracies, yeah, I will still display it in my collection. You do get the alarm clock that you will have to pop in there, so you have to reach around inside the gullwing doors, which do open the way you'd expect, they're ratcheted. You can also rotate the flux capacitor crank thing, and you have the little gear shifter which can be moved around. Plus, the time circuits do light up. That wasn't something I specifically mentioned in my DeLorean Mark II video, but they do, and you can see the little readout there, 1885, 1955, and 1985, so all of the dates are printed on the front of the time circuits. There are wires going everywhere, got a little compass, and the inside of the DeLorean is really well detailed. There's leather grain texture, there's stitching, and the seats themselves also look like these big, boofy 80s style car seats. I am hoping that they don't have the issue with the first batch like they did with the DeLorean Mark II, where the seats fell out in transit and then they were rattling around on the inside, causing damage to the cockpit. You also have a light up effect for the flux capacitor, which does pulse, and the panels behind the headrests. Even though all of these parts and pieces are in different locations, they should be all powered by the same power supply, just like we saw with the other versions of the DeLorean. With the Mark 1, it was just batteries, whereas with the Mark 2, you had both options, batteries and USB-C. All of these little wires and hoses, if they are following the same model as the Mark 2 DeLorean, will have to be connected by you. And it is a bit of a challenge. These silver bits that meet in the middle, then the black hoses that you have to connect up to them, a lot of people struggled with this, including me. I actually damaged one of the silver brackets and I had to get a replacement because the clips are really thin. They're made out of translucent plastic. And as we all know, translucent plastic is quite brittle. So we never know. We'll just have to wait and see when this thing comes out if they have made any changes compared to the Mark II or even Mark 1 DeLoreans. We do have Mr. Fusion around the back, and you will be able to open it exactly like the previous one. You ratchet that little red piece forward, then you can open up Mr. Fusion and maybe pop some trash inside if you so choose. It still would have been a neat effect if you could have removed it and then you would have had all of the detail underneath that panel, but yeah, you can't, unfortunately. It's just Mr. Fusion like we saw with the Mark II. All of these wires and hoses are either real wires or made of that rubbery style material. So they will be a touch flexible and therefore more durable, so you shouldn't have to worry about anything snagging or breaking on you. Now, these are the wheels that I'm going to use on my version of the DeLorean. These big old 50s style white wall wheels. The red with the white walls, then the chrome center, they just look absolutely brilliant. They're going to help this thing stand out compared to the other two DeLoreans, and they just add some visual interest to the side of the car that's otherwise just going to be all brushed silver. The train wheels also add something unique to it, but it's just not my vibe. I think that the white wall wheels are the best option for this DeLorean. Now we have the front. The sculpt work is good, the way the bonnet sits flush, but you can still open it, love that. The straps that go underneath it so there's enough clearance for them to do so, all fantastic. But the lights. Hot Toys, I mentioned this earlier, I'm going to mention it one more time, they need to be yellow. So please, make the change, have the lights be the accurate color, and then people won't have to go about modding their DeLorean. I have seen people actually do that. They've opened it up and installed the correct color tone LEDs. Hot Toys seems to really struggle with getting the color temperature right for their props and vehicles, it would seem, because they had the same issue with their 2022 Robert Pattinson Batman bat signal. That was also supposed to have a warm tone LED, but they went blue. Completely inaccurate. We shouldn't have to be doing mods like this to get stuff to be more accurate, Hot Toys. Y'all should be doing the research and getting it right the first time. Now, will they make the train version of the DeLorean is the question. Complete the set, have all four. I certainly hope not, because I definitely don't have room for that thing. It is going to be absolutely massive. Just giving us the train wheels for the Mark III DeLorean, I think, is more than enough. We do not need to also have that big honkin' train. If you want it though and they make it, then I'm really happy for you. Another little inaccuracy is, you see that bottom row on the back louvers, the thrusters? That is also supposed to be lit up. And that was something that people complained about with both versions of the DeLorean that came before this one, and Hot Toys still hasn't made that change. Just mind-boggling to me. Having clear as day inaccuracies, but not making the adjustments that you need to. I don't want to make it sound like I hate this. I absolutely do not. I am getting this, but it's that final 5% Hot Toys. I know you can get there. Now, I'm getting mine from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.